College, a place to learn. 42% of all Americans have a college degree of some type. Over half of all the students who went to college in 2019 took on student debt, with an average of $29,900. Recently, there's been talk of student loan forgiveness. So we asked the question, is debt for a college a good thing? Who better to ask than college graduates?
I'm Daniel Friedman. I went to University of Maine. I studied education with a concentration in physics and minors in mathematics and French.
So what type of degree did you get?
A bachelor's.
Bachelor's? All right. I don't know like how significant that is.
Okay. You should, Bachelor's of Science, technically.
What were you saying about the amount of student loans that you had?
Okay. What was that about? Oh yeah, no, $75,000.
75. Okay, that's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah, no, that's pretty much just what happens when you're like paying your own way in college
yeah.
and like need to pay rent, all of that. You end up sort of using your student loans to survive on.
That makes sense.
And so when you're doing part-time, because you also like, it's not quite enough money, because you need to work a job, sort of compounds on it. So it's a lot of debt.
Right. So what's your opinion of it overall?
Like of student loans?
Yeah.
I mean, student loans haven't been being paid back for the last like 2 years almost, and like almost last 2 years, and the economy hasn't collapsed. In fact, it's grown significantly. So I'd say overall, I think it could be literally something that if they just like, oh yeah, let's kick the student loan can down the road. If they keep doing that long enough, it's basically like it's forgiven.
My name is David Hoops, and I went to Fresno State for my undergrad.
All right. How many years of school did you attend?
5 years to get my undergraduate. I spent 2 years at a junior college, and then I went to Fresno State to finish for 3 years.
Did you go into debt during any of those years?
I did go into debt. All of my college experience was funded by college loans. I didn't have neither of my parents finished high school, and like if I was going to go to college, I was going to do it by myself. They didn't have the means to help me out.
Right. So how much did you take out in loans, if you don't mind me asking?
The whole thing. I worked all the way through, and the nice thing about state schools is actually affordable. But
Right.
I was a limo driver, and I worked for Budweiser, and I did work in a movie theater, a print shop, and so I did that half of it, and then so I took for about half of my undergraduate life. I think I paid for college with my loans, and then my life by working. So I probably took out good $25,000 in debt.
All right. And have you paid any of that off?
Yeah, I've paid off my undergraduate stuff. So my graduate work I still am chipping away at.
Oh. And what did you wish, or what do you wish that you could have done differently during, while paying off debt, or did you wish that you could do anything differently?
I don't know. I think I have always viewed the student loans as the best investment I ever made in myself. I could not have gone to finish school otherwise, and for me to go to college and have a good college experience and be able to be in a place where I can earn more money for the rest of my life, I needed to go to college. And in the long run, had I not taken out loans, I wouldn't have gone to college, and I would not be in a position that I'm in today where I sort of like my job, and I enjoy the people I work with, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't go to college. So I feel like it was the best investment I could have ever made.
There's been a debate here on Capitol Hill about the cancellation of student loan debt. First of all, from what you're hearing from Washington, what do you think about those arguments as far as the ability to do that and if it should be done?
Yeah, I mean, certainly this has been a hot topic for quite some time. I do think that there are compelling arguments in favor of some sort of broad student loan cancellation, both economic as well as more of an issue of racial justice. And I think that there are good legal arguments that support the notion that that the president can cancel student debt. There's a provision in the Higher Education Act that actually provides that the Secretary of Education has broad discretion to modify, cancel, waive, federal student loan debt. But it's never been done before, and there certainly are counter arguments. The U.S. Department of Education, under Secretary DeVos, had reached the opposite conclusion, that there is no legal authority to do that. That exceeds congressional authority for a president to cancel student debt. And certainly there are folks who have paid down their loans that view it as unfair.
There's a problem with student loans because it's debt that can't be erased, kind of like medical debt. And in my mind, that ends up creating a large inequity issue. But like with all of the jobs currently in the U.S., most of them require some form of college degree, which from like a educational standpoint or from like a technical standpoint, they don't really require that level of education. And so we have this, it's like a mix of like a brain drain slash like rising tide of requirements that don't necessarily match up.
So what are your thoughts on like what's happening with the Speaker of the House asking the president to forgive student loans?
I think it's phenomenal. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Being saddled by debt is a very real thing.
Right.
And it's an incredible struggle. The reality is there's no free money in the world. I'm now a taxpayer, right? And so the taxpayer in me wants to be prudent about how we spend dollars, whether that's for the military or for unemployment or for any other helping to pay to get the country through this COVID matter. Like all of those are trade-offs. I mean, do we spend money to help people not be foreclosed on during COVID? Or do we help people pay off the debt? There's only so much money to go around. And I think like balancing those trade-offs, I love the notion that we can help forgive student loans. And I wish somebody could have done that for me, certainly. But at what cost? It makes me think like, it's
Right.
Going to college is a big deal. And we can't have, I don't think we should just make going to college something that is impenetrable for people. I mean, it needs to be something that people can access, and obviously that's a huge financial commitment, no matter who you are and no matter where you come from. And the more that our government can invest in our young people to access and complete college, the better off we all are. Society is going to be better off the more empowered our people are.